Hi folks, it's Jackie Bushman here with Dr. Mac Barnes and Clint Martin. And you know, if you've never managed your pond on your property, it's something you really need to do. This particular pond right here, how long have y'all been doing this one, Clint?
I think this is the 5th or 6th year, at
Fifth
least
or
5
sixth
years. At least 5.
Now Doc, what's the name of y'all's deal and how many acres have y'all been working over the years?
Well, we have a place in Bullock County, Sanctuary Timber and Wildlife, that we've been managing for over 25 years. So the value of shocking a lake really is to look at the base of forage in your lake, the brim. If you got any shad in there, you can kind of see how healthy they are, how big they are, and you can also take out and measure the bass. The problem that most lakes get into is they get bass crowded, and you have too many predator fish and not enough food, basically. Clint, why don't you tell us what this lake was like before we started managing it?
Well, the first time when I put the boat in the water, first thing I noticed, a lot of little bass, you know, 6 to 8 inches. Very few small intermediate brim. You know, we started taking them out, and as the years went on, started noticing the bass were getting a little better, and the brim, we started showing intermediate brim. Of course, the pond, it had the little intermediate, not very many intermediates, but it had giant brim in it. So that immediately told me that these little bass were eating the little brim as soon as you know, they spawned out, started swimming around. So by taking those bass out, I think we started with about 300, 350 that first year, and there was not a single fish over maybe 10 inches long. As the years progressed, you know, we started seeing different sizes and started growing. And I think last year, I remember, I think we shocked, you know, some 5-6 pound fish up, and that was without introducing any other fish. That was just managing the fish that were already in the lake.
You got fish feeders.
Fish feeders,
and
yeah.
Started feeding the brim so you could have the different stages of brim, correct?
Yes, and that helped out a lot. You know, you feed these mature fish that make them feel good, and they're going to produce better on the spawning.
Right, and then you put shad in the pond too, correct?
Shad helped take some pressure off the bluegill and the other shell crackers. There's a decent amount of shell crackers in this lake also.
So Doc, you just had like I said, you were one of the top onychologists in Montgomery. A lot of people, I know that, a lot of people, but you just have been doing this over the years, whether it's growing big bucks or big bass. You love to do this.
Yeah, I guess I'm very much of an amateur biologist. I probably would have gone into marine biology if there were any jobs back when I went to medical school, but I really love managing wildlife, and my first love has always been fishing. So, you know, when you learn about how to manage things, you learn about the food chain and how important it is to have a quality, you know, water sample to measure your alkalinity and all that. It really starts right there at the base. You've got to have good water quality. We like aeration in our lakes. We fertilize our lakes. And if you get the basic foundation, the food chain going, you can grow some amazing fish in the southeast. Let me tell you what, we grow a lot of 8 and 10 pound bass on our farm. And the biggest we caught, we shocked up, is about 15, and Clint and I both caught several fish this year over 10 pounds in one of our lakes. So
wow.
you can certainly raise some trophy fish if you pay attention to your water quality and your forage base, and that's what this is all about.
Now, a lot of people, well, I don't fish. I don't want to fish. You know, I want to make sure they grow. You got to either fish your pond and take out X amount, or you got to shock them and take them out, correct? You just do not fish your pond.
Right, no. I mean, it'll just fade off. I mean,
yeah, if you don't actively fish your pond and take out some of the bass, the predator fish, you'll wind up with a lake that's full of little bass and you know, a few big brim, but a lot of small fish. But it can certainly be done, and we have a lake now that we fish that's got amazing brim in it. You know, our bluegills average about a pound, and
wow. It's
full of big bass too. But it requires some effort, but it certainly can be done.
All right, folks, this pond right here is 6 years into management, okay? And we're gonna go out and take the shocking boat right here. We'll show you some stuff on that. We're gonna shock up and kind of see what we got. Then you're gonna weigh the fish, correct?
Yeah, we can weigh.
And then you're gonna show us the difference between males and females. That's an interesting little deal. So when we start doing that, then you're gonna start putting X amount of them back. We're gonna take X amount of them out.
Right.
And then we'll know kind of where we stand in our 6th year on this particular pond.
Yep. And I was just gonna say, you know, With the shock boat, the way we utilize it, you know, you can't look out in that pond and tell what's out there like you can if you're out deer hunting, kind of manage. You're seeing, or cattle farming, you can see what's going on. We utilize the shock boat to be able to, that's our eyes in the water, you know.
Right.
Be able to
Okay, and one thing I will tell you folks, the first thing they tell you in a shock boat, don't put your hands in the water. And 6 years ago, the first thing I did after we got a fish, I went to the water to wash my hands. Bad move. Yeah. That's all I'll say. All right, well, let's get the shock boat in there and let's see what we got. This is 6 years on this particular pond, folks, and it's interesting to watch the management. I get a chance to tag along these guys as they do their work. All right, Doc, show me what you got here.
This is your basic shock boat. We actually had this boat built in Louisiana and then put all the generator and the shocking apparatus on it. But what you've got is you've got a generator in the back and you've got the booms up here with the electrodes in the water. And the fish get shocked and they float up and you can see them and measure them, but it doesn't hurt them at all, particularly when the water temperature is cool like it is now, and they'll swim off in a few minutes. But it allows you to really sample and see what kind of forage base you've got and see the health of your bass.
So when do you start fertilizing?
Early spring.
Early spring, and then do once a month?
Yeah, once a month. You look at your water clarity and you can kind of tell.
Okay, and that goes through what, August, September?
We don't usually fertilize in the midst of the summer. We do it early on and get that bloom going. And unless you got a lot of water flow through your lake, it kind of stays to the summer.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. And then, like I said, if you can see, I know we got a little stick on the pond that we fish in. If you and it's got a little white sheet on it, you put it down there, and if it goes 12 or 18 inches and you can't see it, that means
you're good. Yeah.
That means you're good. But if you can see it, that means you need to be fertilized.
You need to be fertilizing more. And like I say, if you hadn't got good water quality, it's hard to get a bloom. Your water's too clear. It could be that your alkalinity is not right, and then you can't get an algae bloom, and that phytoplankton and zooplankton get in the water, and that's what the little fish eat. If you ain't got that, you'll never get a good base of fish. It's just like growing a crop of corn or something. You got to have proper soil conditions and proper nutrients for your base to grow.
I got you. All right, well, let's see if we can pull up some fish here. This will be pretty cool, folks. Been tagging along with these guys as they shock these different ponds around the county, so this ought to be fun. So you get your box.
Okay. This is a bluegill, a nice size one. Excellent fish, good eating. And this is a shellcracker. Shellcracker is another species of sunfish. And these to me are one of the best eating freshwater fish there are. Absolutely delicious. That's a nice one right there. Good size. So one of the goals today is to remove as many of the male bass as we can, thereby allowing the bigger bass to have more forage to eat. So anyway. Little baby black bass. This is about a 2-pound. This is a nice, healthy bass. You see, that's a female. It's already spawned out, probably, so we're going to put her back. These are all real small bluegill. These hatched out probably last fall. This is a good, healthy size fish for the bass to forage on.
Most are brim heavy if you've got recruits from last year. And some ponds you go to, you don't see little ones, and that's because the brim raises the nest and eating all the eggs. So you want a little bit of recruitment to replace, natural mortality. Ooh, that's good.
good ones there, Doc.
Yeah. Bass look real healthy. A lot of recruitment because you got to make a small fish. So there's a lot of recruitment, a lot of small fish in the pond. You need to keep taking them out. That's what that means.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when you start seeing a lot of small ones, you gotta go. Gotta go.
Our ponds that we have that are really well managed, you'll only occasionally get fish that size if you shock up. We've already shocked up a bunch here, so we still got work to do on this lake. Show you something. This is what we call an intermediate brim right here. This is a big bass's preferred food. He'll eat that 9 times out of 10. That's a good size right there. Again, you see a lot of small bass like that. And another intermediate brim right there. Nice bluegill right there. Bluegill.
Another bass over to your left, Doc. Decent brim in there?
Yeah, a few.
Come on, man. Slippery, slippery. Now this is what I did last time. I said, oh, I need to wipe my hands off, and they lit me up. I ain't got much hair, but what I had with my hat went whoop. No, I ain't doing it. I learned my lesson. Do what you're told. Do what you're told. I did not do what I was told. I got lit up.
That's a shellcracker bed right there. That's a bed right there, yeah. See, that's a male. That's a male shellcracker. Beautiful fish. See where his milk is coming out. We just went over a shellcracker bed. They definitely were.
He's heavy. There you go. Good job.
Hey Jackie, your aeration system more than doubles your basic food chain. It increases the productivity of your water tremendously. Also makes it safer in the summertime when your water gets too hot for the fish. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at these fish, and if they're males, take them out. female.
I leave the female. I leave every female. Male, let's take them out. Female. That's their beautiful growth. These fish are growing tremendously. What's that, Doc? 5?
Probably 4.
Bass right there, buddy. Right there. Get him.
You got to man up, Jason. You got to man up and grab that thing.
Do it, buddy.
It won't bite you but one. Got a bunch of females. You gotta toughen up, Jason. You gotta get mad at that fish.
Like she may not have spawned. That's a healthy fish there. Yeah, she may not have spawned. That's a female.
This is a male, I think. Correct.
That's a female. That's a male. Put him in there. But look, let me show y'all this. Look at this. This is a freshwater mussel shell, and a lot of our ponds and lakes in central Alabama are loaded with these mussels. And the shell cracker eat these; they love them. So that's good food for the shell cracker.
What's wrong with him?
Maybe we're bird pecking.
Huh?
Yeah, it came out. You can see right over here. Bird pecking.
I got a bald eagle here too. Is that a female?
Yeah, female. Yeah, all right.
That's pretty. That's a 4-pounder, isn't it? Is that only 4?
I think that's a hernia. I really think that's a hernia.
I keep saying, I said, that looks like a 6-pounder.
Probably with a hernia, she's not
You
going
know,
to survive that blood.
Blue heron will actually spear a fish like that or a big brim, way too big for it to eat, and they'll throw it on the bank.
Really?
Yeah, they won't eat it.
Here, look at this.
They always spear them right below the dorsal fin like that.
So what speared that fish?
A blue heron.
A blue heron speared that fish.
If it's a hernia,
But she
she's not
made it.
gonna survive, and we're probably just going to have to eat
She made it so good, she going back in the water. Clint, let's show everybody the difference between a male and a female, because that's what you're going to be kind of putting back
Correct.
in the water and what's coming out.
Yeah, we'll keep the females, and we want the males to come
All right,
out.
this is a male.
This is the male. This is the female. The way we identify it is these ducks. They have 2 ducts here.
Uh-huh.
So this one's swollen and more oval,
Uh-huh.
and that one's kind of got a teardrop shape to it, and it's not.
Okay.
That's going to be your male, the easiest way to identify. Plus, look at the width of them. These fish are probably close to the same age.
Right.
Look at this female's, the anatomy of her.
Right.
She's just a little different. I mean,
Right. Oh, wider
And,
too. I got you.
and that's the most common way, easiest way to
So
do
that
it.
right there is, and this is the difference. That's oval.
Right.
This one looks redder,
This is
right?
more oval, and it has the reddish shape from where the eggs have been.
The reddish shade. That's what I was saying. Okay, so
Right,
it's
and
got
then-
the reddish and this one doesn't. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we're taking this one out.
Correct.
The males are coming out, females are going back in. And the reason you do that, I hear a lot of people have just female bass ponds just so they can grow big bass.
Right.
And they're not having to worry about
They don't have to worry about it,
overpopulation or nothing, right?
But, you know, we've got both. I tend to think the fish seem to do better with the male and the female. They grow. They
Right.
keep competing for food. The females seem to get bigger.
Yeah.
Whereas they'll grow fast in a female-only pond. They'll kind of plateau off at about 7 to 8 pounds. There, they lose. There's no competition to feed.
Okay.
And so they're just feeding.
Get lazy.
They get lazy and
Yeah.
they only feed when they're hungry instead of competing for that bait fish with another fish.
Right.
And that kind of slows the growth rates down.
So when people are fishing and and you're gonna say, hey, I want you to take out, say, a 14 to 16 inch, but you'd like to be able to check if it's a male or female.
Correct.
You definitely want all the males out of there.
You want to take your males out.
And let the females stay. That's a good tip right there.
We'll put her back.
There she goes back. That one's going to the frying pan. All right, now what are we going to do here, Clint?
We're going to attempt to sample some eggs. Sometimes
Okay.
it works if she hadn't laid all of them.
Yep. And this is another way to show male or female, correct?
Correct. See the eggs in there?
Yeah, I'll be done. Okay. But if you don't have one of those little things, I
Right.
mean, that's what you do.
Right.
We're going with the other way, right?
Correct. Most people, they're not going to take a medical pipette with them in their tackle box, you know.
Yeah,
so.
I got you. So the average Bubba, if he knows how to look at it, he'll know the difference between a male and female.
That's right.
Well, I learned something. So I know the females are going back in
Females are going back in.
and the males are going to the skillet.
Fairly healthy. I like to look back here.
Uh-huh.
His back width of his behind their
Right,
dorsal right there. See how that's still,
right.
that's a healthy fish right there. I mean,
Okay.
she looks down, but she just laid all her eggs.
Gotcha.
She probably hadn't fed in 2 or 3 weeks, you know.
Okay. So that's a healthy
She's been
fish.
laying on the,
Yeah.
She's gonna go back to feeding and she'll,
And that fish right there weigh what, a couple pounds?
yeah, two and a half when she bulks back up.
Okay.
She may push 3 by the end.
How long does it take a fish like that to get to an 8 to 10 pounder?
You see a rapid growth in that first and second year. You know, we're seeing some 2.5 to 4 pound growth the first year. Then it kind of seems like, you know, it'll go in 1.5 to 2 pounds from there on through their lifespan.
Okay.
You know.
So when somebody
3 to-
catches an
3
8
to
to
4.
10 pound fish, how old would that fish be?
Oh, it could easily be a 3 to 4 year old fish.
Okay.
But, you know,
Huh?
on average, it's probably 5.
5 years old?
Yeah.
I
It
got you.
depends on the forage and
Yeah.
you know, but we're seeing some 4 pound growth.
But if you manage the pond right,
But that's in a pond where you really have optimal forage. You've got to have really a lot of food for the bass to eat to get that kind of growth in the first couple of years.
gotcha.
But it can be done.
This fish is probably 2 years old.
I saw mostly females. That
That's a-
fish hadn't spawned though.
Okay, that's a 2-year-old? Okay.
That's a good healthy fish.
Yeah. Okay.
Small mouth on them.
Yeah.
You know,
You know,
one thing
good.
I didn't see the first thread fin in here when we were shocking.
They'll be
Usually,
out there.
We saw them though this year. They didn't die. I
I
mean,
know they're here, but they weren't in the shallows today. I think that
yeah.
reflects the fact.
Now, all right, that's a pretty good one. All right, where's that one go?
4.5 pounds.
Right at 4.
That's 4.
4 pounds.
She's
All right, and how old is she?
she's probably 5-year-old.
5-year-old?
Probably. And if
See, she's longer.
if you'd weighed her before she spawned out, she'd be 6 pounds.
Okay, she'd be a 6-pounder.
Yeah.
Okay. So these fish are after the spawn.
All right, there you go. There's a little male. He's real easy to tell with the, you know, more of a teardrop. It's not red, not swollen.
And he going to the skillet.
Yes, sir.
I can't catch it.
Another young female.
Female.
Probably in the 2 pound range there. 2 pounds.
2 pounds, you right on it. So you're gonna be a 4 or 5 pounder next year.
Male, fat male. All right, here's another male.
Got that teardrops, what you're saying? Not swollen.
Not swollen. Still healthy for a male bass.
So how long is that right there?
14 and a half maybe.
Okay. Now, when people are fishing and they don't have access to a boat like this, right? Are you saying you want to take the 14 to 16 inches out?
Well, yeah, depending on your age of your fish. And
Would absolutely keep all the fish. I'd keep all the fish that's like less than 15 inches.
Less than 15 inches, take them out.
15 inches actually.
And that fish goes out. Okay.
Yeah, male, yeah.
Okay, being a male and 16 inches and under goes out.
Yeah, we're gonna keep some of our under females this year.
Yeah.
We may. Another
male?
Little male.
Okay. Now the question is, how many pounds do you have to take out per acre of the pond?
Depends on your forage base. Depends on a lot of things. That's something you would study.
Okay.
The shock boat, you could take numbers, work a report up, and look.
Gotcha.
It's going to vary from pond to pond, but I would say probably on average here in the south, 200 pounds.
A few hundred pounds?
Yeah, per year.
Okay.
Another fat little male right there.
And these fish are excellent to eat. I mean, they're absolutely delicious. You flay them up and,
Another
take the skin off of them. They fry them good as any catfish you've ever eaten. They're delicious fish to eat.
These too small.
The female. She's 2 1/4.
Is that a brim or shell cracker?
Shell cracker.
Yep.
Beautiful shell cracker.
Shell cracker.
And that's the shell crackers. You can see the orange right there.
Yeah. Red ear sunfish.
Yeah.
Same. And here we call them shell crackers because they like to eat mussels.
Right.
They love little baby crayfish.
Right. Now there's a copper nose. Now that's a good one right there.
Fish half a pound.
Half pound, wow. All right, that's a good one right there, and that's
beautiful brim. Right?
That's a copper nose. Blue
nose. Fish is going 3/4 to a pound, I would expect.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one there, isn't it?
3/4 of a pound.
That's a good one.
I went fishing in our lake the other day and I kept 10. They
Yeah, once again.
Yeah.
Way over 10 pounds.
Fish is healthy, getting plenty of feed.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you're showing the difference of the brim in there. The bass can't eat that brim.
One of your bigger bass could.
The 10 pounders can?
8 or 10 pound fish eat that.
Yeah,
eat that brim
but
all
the
day
average
long.
fish can't eat that.
The average can't, and most of your bass are going to prefer that 3 to 5 inch,
That's
maybe
the sweet
6.
spot.
This
Okay.
fish is what, getting on up 8, 9 inches here.
Yeah. That fish
That's
is
9 on the
that's 9 inches. Okay,
9-inch fish. It's
that's a good brim.
saying they won't eat them.
Yeah.
Big bass.
Oh, yeah.
Opportunity arises.
He'll get
I've
it.
seen them eat them.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
They always say the bigger the bait, the bigger the bass. It's another good brim.
We like to take a look at that fish. A little narrow up there. He may not have found a feeder just yet this year.
Yeah. They're pretty. Kids love to catch them. That's what's fun.
Here's a female.
Yeah.
Here's a female bluegill, copper nose. Tell the copper nose, we see that little orange fringe,
Yeah.
white fringe. Usually some of them, the
Yeah.
males, will have that bar across here, That's a nice average size
Yeah.
hen bluegill.
Yep.
This is like the fish that I find.
This right here, this size fish right here,
That's
is
it.
one of your most important
That's
size
probably
brim in
the
your
most
pond.
important forage fish in your lake is that one right there. That's what we call intermediate brim. It's a 3 to 5 inch fish.
Right.
That is your 2 to 5 pound bass. Just they live on those. That's their prime forage.
All right, now if we don't have those, what do you do? Do you have to?
Now you got in this pond right now. You've got ample small brim. You've
Okay.
got jillions of them.
Okay.
And what's happening is your bass are selectively taking those out when they get big enough to be intermediates.
Okay. So if somebody's got a pond and they've got just little bitty brim, you had some little ones. I know you had.
This size fish here
Right.
can't feed on this.
Right.
This right here is going to start feeding on your fry. So that's one of the importance of keeping this size bass in check, because they'll decimate your brim population
Really?
before they ever reach this size.
I got
bigger
you.
fish.
So you want these little ones out?
Yeah.
All of
For
them.
the most part, you want to leave some for recruitment, but this
Right.
is,
That's a male right there.
we saw plenty of this size.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I got
got a bunch of them out.
So it's all about the size of the brim, because that's the food source.
The brim is the key to these lakes.
Yeah.
And we put other forage in our big fish ponds. We use tilapia and gizzard shad.
Right. And I know we got shad in here.
You've got threadfin shad.
Yeah. Yep.
That fish right there would have never made it to that size, you know, if we hadn't started 5 years ago taking these smaller fish out of this particular pond.
I got you.
When we first started looking at it, nothing like this. Just
I got you.
big brim, none this size or smaller.
Huh.
So,
Well, y'all done a good job on this pond. Well, this is what, the 6th year on this particular pond? Interesting.
we were all this size when I started working here
I'll be done.
on this particular lake. And then, you know, years going on, we're starting to see, you know, these 3, 4. All those fish we saw earlier, they were fish that grew from, you know, when we started, they were this size, and by taking them out, we've increased the size.
All right, so what will you recommend to the owner fishing here now?
Continue taking these males out through the summer.
All right, how many? I mean,
As
just
many as you can catch.
as many as you can catch. 14 to 16, Doc?
I'd keep, if it were me, I'd keep anything under 15 inches in this lake, male or female right now.
Okay, I got you. Okay, all right. Well, folks, we've had fun with Dr. Barnes and Clint right here. They do this, and they do it very well. So I just appreciate y'all letting me tag along and kind of see how y'all do management for ponds and fish management. So somebody gonna eat some good fish, I know that. So fry them up. Next thing is we'll talk to the folks. They'll come down here and see if they can catch some fish. And then they're gonna fry them up and see. I'll give you some good recipes on cooking some good fish. So.
If you can't catch fish in this lake, you're in trouble.
All right, sounds good.